This is what happens when you wash your hair too much. There is no denying how important hair care is to us. In fact, the Huffington Post reports that the average woman spends approximately $50,000 on her hair over her lifetime, and almost 2 hours a week washing and styling her hair. But what if I told you that washing your hair all the time isn't as healthy as it sounds? Keep watching to see what happens when you wash your hair too much. Before we answer that, subscribe to our channel and hit the notification button for all sorts of great lifestyle tips from your bestie. So, why is washing your hair all the time harmful? Shouldn't constant cleanliness be a good thing? Well, as a matter of fact, there is such a thing as too much hair care. For starters, cleaning your scalp and hair too often can upset the microbiome on your head. I know what you're thinking. Micro what now? Well, microbiologist Dominic Berg describes it like this. Your skin is covered in billions of good bacteria from about 1,000 species, which are helpful to your body. Essentially, they prevent bad bacteria from invading and even keep your skin at a good pH level. If you wash your hair too much, you'll upset the microbiome, which could lead to an imbalance, which might lead to scalp problems. What kind of scalp problems? Try an increase in bad bacteria, inflammation, and even fungi. Ew, gross! For most people, it's about finding that equilibrium between too much and not enough hair care. Speaking of which, here's a good question that bears asking. How can someone tell if they're overwashing their hair? We have 5 hair tips that'll let you know when it's time to cut down on your hair cleaning. Number 1, a stuck brush. Say you're brushing your hair and you find that your brush keeps getting lodged in your locks. That could be because you're washing them too much. Overwashing your hair means it'll become drier and more brittle, which makes it harder to slide a brush through it. Remember, you shouldn't have to be a muscle freak just to brush through your mane. Number 2, you're losing color. Some people dye their hair, which is obviously fine. But should you find that the more you wash, the more your hair color fades, that's a clear sign that you need to slow down. The writers at Bustle recommend using a sulfate-free shampoo to keep the color molecules in your hair, as well as cool rinsing at the end of your showers. Number 3, your hair is breaking. Overwashing means drier hair, which leads to hair breaking. Nobody likes broken hair, so if you're finding that things up there have become frizzy, you're getting split ends, or your hair just feels generally damaged, you should probably slow down with the hair cleaning. Keep in mind though, that overwashing isn't the only reason your hair might be broken. According to dermatologist Dr. Sejal Shah, combing your hair while still wet and aggressive toweling can also be the cause of damaged hair. Number 4, flakes on the scalp. This one is definitely gross, but it's important to track if you want healthy hair. If you're finding flakes of skin on your scalp, there's a good chance you've been washing your hair too much. Don't forget this, a scalp should be clean, but also not too dry. And remember also, too much washing causes dryness. Washing your hair all the time can also lead to losing natural oils. But hold up, aren't you supposed to clean your hair when it becomes oily? Well, not all the time. Turns out, there are oils called sebum that are actually pretty good for your hair. These oils are used to protect your locks, as well as keep them healthy and moisturized. Too much washing can lead to a loss in sebum, which might turn your hair dry and brittle. Now that we've explored the signs of overwashing, let's look at some of the things you can do to wash your hair less often. For this, we have 9 different hair tips on the steps you can take to keep your hair healthy without constantly washing. Number 1, use less product. While some products can help nourish dry and damaged hair, it's important that you watch how much of the product you are putting in your hair. If you use too much hair oil or your hair masks are heavy, you can weigh down your hair and cause it to look dirty quicker. Number 2, brush less often. When you brush your hair, you're stimulating your hair follicles, which signals them to produce more oil. Remember that balance we talked about earlier? Well, if you're finding that you're overproducing oils and that your hair looks unwashed, try brushing less often. Or instead of brushing your hair with a paddle brush, try brushing it with a comb. Keep the hair and avoid touching your scalp. Number 3, don't touch. Like brushing too often, touching your hair also has the effect of stimulating your hair follicles into producing more natural oil. While it might be fun to toss your hair around like a valley girl, try to avoid it so your hair doesn't become too oily. Number 4, try an updo. If your hair is beginning to look and feel oily, try styling it in an updo instead of washing it. You can also style your hair in an updo before it becomes oily in order to preserve it. The less styling products and tools you use, the longer it will stay clean. Plus, trying out new hairstyles is always a blast. Number 5, lower the temperature. No, not the temperature of your living space, although that might help a little bit. What we're actually talking about here is lowering the temperature of your hairstyling products. If you use a dryer, a curling iron, or a straightener, it can cause your follicles to produce more oil in order to protect the skin. So, just crank the temperature down a little bit and remember not to use a hair dryer with soaking wet hair. If you do, your locks might just dry out. Number 6, use hair scrubs. While this next part might sound a little bit gross, it's important to do for proper hair care. Use hair scrubs to peel off the dead skin and stubborn dirt. It can also strengthen the follicles and stimulate hair growth. You can buy these scrubs at any drug or beauty store. You can also make homemade scrubs. Number 7, wash your pillowcases. Believe it or not, the place you rest your head at night has some effect on how your hair will look in the morning. You should be changing your pillowcases or washing them at least once a week because they are usually a festering ground for oil and dirt from your face and hair. Turns out the monsters under your bed aren't the only things that creep around at night. Gross. Number 8, wear hats. These head protectors should be worn in the summer and winter to protect your hair from the cold or the heat. Both of these extreme temperatures make your skin overproduce sebum as a form of protection. While yes, sebum is a good thing, too much of it can make your hair roots become greasy, which, as we talked about before, is never a good look. Even though a hat may clash with your various hairstyles, it's probably more important to have healthy hair. Number 9, change shampoos. This may seem pretty obvious, but different people have different hair. And this may seem doubly obvious, but different shampoos do different things. If your hair seems dirty, greasy, or generally damaged, it could be because you're using the wrong product for your type of hair. Try experimenting with different stuff, or ask a trichologist, a hair doctor, if they have any recommendations. Okay, so you've made it through this far. Here's a fact that might shock you. The good people over at The Independent report that if you wash your hair less frequency, you'll find that over time it needs to be cleaned less. How's that for a brain bender? Now that we know everything about why, how, and what, we should explore the when. As in, when should you wash your hair, if not every day? How often should you be in the shower cleaning your precious, beautiful locks? These questions, like many others, have different answers and mostly depend on the person. However, there are 3 hair tips that you should keep in mind when deciding how often to wash your hair. Number 1, skin type. Alright, assessing your skin and hair is important here. Are your skin and hair super oily or super dry? No? Then you probably have normal skin and hair. A Columbia University health column states that if your skin and hair are in the normal to dry range, you should only be washing your hair about once or twice a week. However, if your skin and scalp are greasy, you should probably be washing them more often. Number 2, hair texture. Next, we'll be taking a look at the type of hair you have. Different hairstyles means different ways to clean it. It's important to examine because depending on your hairstyle, sebum will work its way from the roots down to the rest of your hair at different speeds. If you've got coarse or curly hair, You only have to shampoo once a week. People with fine, straight hair, however, will most likely have to do it twice a week, or even more. Number 3, styling. Finally, you'll have to change your washing schedule based on how you style your hair. This doesn't just apply to different hairstyles, however. It also applies to if your hair is processed by styling. If that's the case, you should definitely wash less. And that's it. Tell us in the comments below your washing hair schedule. Maybe you've got some secrets or hair tips you'd like to share with everyone. Enjoyed this video? Hit the like button and share with your friends. Also, subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.